Star Wars Trilogy, Apprentice of the Force, is an action platformer game for the Nintendo Game Boy Advance. It follows Luke Skywalker through the Star Wars original trilogy. It was released by Ubisoft in 2004. You can experience the most memorable scenes from the first three Star Wars movies: A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Follow Luke as he becomes a Jedi, fights Darth Vader and Boba Fett, escapes from the Rancor Beast, and destroys the Death Star. You can discover Jedi abilities and powers, ride a few vehicles, and more. Remember, if you're new here, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button as it helps out this channel grow. And don't forget to hit the notification button for all future videos. So, how is the Star Wars Trilogy today? Let's find out in this review of Star Wars Trilogy, Apprentice of the Force, for the Nintendo Game Boy Advance. Star Wars Trilogy, Apprentice of the Force, follows the plot of the Star Wars movies, and it follows it pretty closely. Many games based on movies add extra levels and scenarios that never appeared in the source material, but this game is almost completely faithful to the movies. The story is told from a point of view of and with textual narration by Luke Skywalker. Action stages are put together by this narration with blue-tinted holographic pictures from the movies connecting one action stage to the next. The story is told pretty good in this game. Much of Apprentice of the Force's gameplay takes place in a side-scrolling, platforming-based environment. As Luke Skywalker, the player originally only has access to basic jumps and blaster-based combat. But as Luke learns more of the Force and the way of the Jedi, he gains the ability to wield a lightsaber to fight in melee combat and deflect projectiles. Luke must run, duck, jump, and shoot his way across various levels, eventually learning different force powers along the way. Those powers are handed to Luke in the course of the game and are tied to a meter. It's right below the life meter. Among other things, they allow him to push things and people away, heal himself, and slow down time. Acquiring the lightsaber also makes the fights more interesting. Occasionally, Luke will have to protect characters such as R2-D2 or Princess Leia to progress. There are also a few stages where Luke takes control of a ship and vehicle-based combat, where he must avoid oncoming obstacles while defeating foes. These levels are not really that well done. Controlling your vehicles feels real sluggish and hard to handle while trying to avoid obstacles and enemies. There are also several boss fights throughout the game, such as Boba Fett or Darth Vader. Most levels follow a similar routine. Luke must make his way across platforms while fighting a few foes along the way, when suddenly the screen stops scrolling and he gets ambushed by a dozen or so enemies. This is the one complaint I really have with the gameplay. When the screen stops, the screen suddenly shrinks in size. You get ambushed by stormtroopers, sand people, wampas, or whatever you're currently fighting against coming from both sides of the screen, and you can't continue until you kill all of them. The tone of the music even changes also. This might be fun for the first few times it happens, but it quickly becomes tedious by the 10th or 12th time. This is not a deal breaker for the game, but Super Star Wars had constant action with enemies showing up completely out of nowhere, and you had to be quick to defend yourself from them. And they didn't need to shrink the screen or change the music to make you feel like you're in trouble. So this makes the ambushes another feature that keeps the game from being great. The visuals in this game look surprisingly good, with the animation being really good in this game. All the characters move fluidly, and that just don't apply to Luke, but also applies to the enemies he faces. They are also quite heavily outlined, giving them somewhat of a cartoonish, cel-shaded look. The level of detail varies a bit, but is generally more than fine with a nice touch of having Luke's various outfits correspond with the story's timescale. The backdrops also look good, but can become noticeably repetitive as the long levels begin to drag on. Above all though, the visuals manage to inflict the necessary Star Wars vibe, which does count for a lot. The game features good graphics and smooth animations, but the graphics are also the source of one of my largest complaints. Luke has no face. No one has a face in this game. They have smudges. It's almost as if the faces were painted on the sprites and someone rubbed them off and just leaving smudges that may or may not resemble faces. The familiar score we all know and love just sounds okay in this game. It is generally recognized as Star Wars music, but it isn't great Star Wars music. But it is recognizable, but it's not horrible quality. It's still enough to create the right and proper Star Wars mood and provide the action with some much needed energy. The sound effects are also lifted from the films and do their job as well as expected. When you fire your blaster, you can tell the sound from a blaster. Swinging your lightsaber provides the expected electronic buzz as well. The Star Wars Trilogy isn't a bad game. It has a solid gameplay. The sound effects were good. It told the story from all three movies very well. It has good graphics for the handheld game, but the characters have no face. The music was good, it had the Star Wars vibe to it, but it could have sounded a lot better. It was a bit on the easy side. It's kind of a short game and can be beaten around 2 to 3 hours. The vehicle levels could have been done a lot better and could have had more space battles. There was only one space battle in the entire game. Overall, I still have fun with this game and would definitely recommend this. Star Wars Trilogy, Apprentice of the Force, gets a 3 out of 5. So what did you think about Star Wars Trilogy, Apprentice of the Force for the Game Boy Advance? Please leave comments below to share your thoughts. That will do it for this episode. I will be doing live streams throughout the week, mostly games from the Xbox or the Nintendo Switch, and sometimes on Tuesday nights I do a retro game night live. And remember, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up for your support. Thank you for watching, and I will see you here on the next episode. Have a great day.
Yeah.